All right, guys, if you guys are tuning in today, this is episode 51. Thank you so much for listening to the Chewing Grounds podcast. I have a huge guest on today. I'm super excited because I'm a big fan of his music. Also, my mom is a fan of his music now. I got her on, and he makes amazing, not only music in English, but also in Vietnamese as well. He's a mixed artist, and he has some bangers. But thank you so much for tuning in, and let's get to the episode. What's up, man?
What up, dog?
Dude, I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Of course.
First off, I want to say I am so jealous of your hair, bro. That shit is so fresh, dude. I wish I could have curls. And like being like Vietnamese, like straight up, the only way I could get curls is if I get like 3 perms.
Hey, man, nowadays that's what the young cats are doing. You know what I mean?
That is what
all
they're
like
doing.
The younger Vietnamese kids I know, they all got perms, bro.
My cousin got one. But he now looks like a K-pop kind of, like the K-pop curls, not like the actual curls. You got like the Troy Polamalu curls, dude, which is wild. I wanted to talk to you, bro. Well, first off, you were hard to pin down because your schedule and my schedule would never like mix because we're so busy. I'm glad that we did this. I want to talk to you. How did you start music? Like, what was your first? How old were you, first of all, and then what was your first influence into it?
I mean, I just been around music all my life. You know what I mean? I think like Asian culture, like it just stresses music all the time. Karaoke, just listening to like just classic folktale music and stuff. So that's kind of what I grew up on.
You grew up on the folktale music too?
Yeah.
Wow,
sure.
I did too, which is interesting. Like, because I wouldn't have imagined that listening to your music sometimes. Like, I noticed some of the instrumentals are a little bit of like the music is a little bit influenced by that, but that's crazy, dude.
I mean, that's kind of like my intro into music. I think like original Vietnamese music is like bolero and like cải lương, like shit like that.
Cải lương, man.
Like,
Puts me to sleep.
I grew up on like listening to that shit. But yeah, you know what I mean? That's just part of the history, part of who I am or whatnot. But as far as like getting into like making my own, like before I even got into like music, I was just like a writer. So like kids in school, they tend to be either like math and science smart or like English and history smart.
Yeah.
So I was just always been good at like just like writing, expressing myself in words. Like say if I have a paper due, I'd write it the day of and get like an A on it or something like that. Writing just came naturally to me. So, I was writing like little raps and stuff like when I was in middle school. But as far as putting songs together, like taking like lyrics and putting it on an instrumental, I didn't do that till like high school.
Wow.
And that's kind of where I just kind of found an interest in it and then just built up from there and just started introducing different elements and stuff. And then eventually I got to, hey, why not try rapping in Vietnamese?
Oh my God, dude, I have to compliment you on this, and along with my sister, cause I surprisingly, my sister is the one who even showed me you. I think she found you on like Facebook or something like that. Someone posted it, and you have the amazing ability, and not a lot of people have this, where you can speak very fluently in both languages with no accent, little to no. Because like when I hear you rap or whatever, it sounds like a normal rapper in that is fully Viet, right? And then if I hear your English, as if you're American, where someone like me, I was born in Vietnam, but when I speak Viet, people know I'm American. Like they pick on me if I'm in Vietnam and I speak Vietnamese. They're like, "Oh yeah, he's American. He's not Vietnamese." Where I can't really tell. I can't tell where you're from. Like initially between the two. Like, were you born in Vietnam or here?
Yeah, I was born in Vietnam.
Okay,
I came over here and raised in the U.S. like since I was like 1. So
how did you learn Vietnamese, and like how were you practicing constantly when you were little? Because I lost a lot of it.
It's like, for example, it's like, say like take like a Spanish family, right? And like they have a baby, like they're not teaching the baby Spanish, they're just speaking to the baby in Spanish. And then you know what I mean, it's like an inherent thing. It's not something that you put effort into. It's just something like, oh, this is your culture, this is your people, this is your language, you just grow up speaking it. So obviously when people look at me, I don't look Vietnamese, they're like, oh, how did you learn Vietnamese? I'm like, well, I didn't really learn it, it's just part of who I am.
But you got lucky though for retaining it. Because I had the same thing. I grew up in a background where, you know, everyone spoke Viet, right? However, for some reason, I think by the age of 6 or 7, that was what my parents said, I started losing my Viet and focusing too much on the English side. And then it became to the point where I wasn't in ESOL anymore. I was just a English speaker first language. And then I started losing my Viet. So my parents started getting mad at me, right? And they would force me to go to temple just to learn. And I hated it. So I had like a bad connection as a young kid with Vietnamese. But like, just what I was saying, you're really, that one thing shows how talented and smart you are, because it's actually hard. A lot of people think it's easy to be able to speak with that fluency. And you probably are like, oh yeah, I mean, I grew up with it. But me, as someone who is a bilingual, looking at you, I'm like, dude, I wish I spoke that fluent. It's amazing, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's just like it's the same thing with like working out. Like if you don't use it, you use it. You know what I mean?
That's good.
That's why I tell people. Matter of fact, I just got back from Cali, Orange County, right?
Oh shit, for real. I love that place,
County
bro.
is like the Orange County has
Santa Ana?
the biggest, like Santa Ana, Garden Grove.
Yeah. The Viet area.
Yeah. But like, yeah, so I was in that area and I met Vietnamese people. They're living in the largest Vietnamese like community outside of Vietnam. That's what Orange County is. Yep. And some of them kids, they couldn't speak either. And I was kind of like blown away. I was kind of blown away by that. I'm like, man, like you use it every day. Like, how do you lose it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I didn't really understand. But yeah, like when people say, how do you speak Vietnamese so well? How do you this? How do you that? I'm like, I guess I just never lost it because I use it every day to like speak to my mom.
Bro. And did your dad speak at all? Like,
no, my dad spoke 6 languages, but Vietnamese was not.
Jesus, bro, that's probably where you got your talent of like retaining. 6 languages? Jesus.
Maybe like some. I mean, you got some random people that are just prodigies. You know what I mean? True, I don't think I'm like that. My Spanish is like conversational. My Vietnamese is good. My English is good. But like, I don't know. Languages are hard, man.
So fucking hard. Speaking of languages, what do you find it harder to write for, in English or in Vietnamese when you're writing your music? Because you obviously you make music in both.
It's not. One or the other isn't really harder. It's just like how you go about it. Because for example, like punchlines don't work the same in like English and Vietnamese. Like, for example, if you take like a sentence in English and you try to like translate it literally into Vietnamese,
it won't make sense. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like if anything, it helps me being bilingual because I can express my creativity in like different ways. You know what I mean? So it's not really one or the other is harder.
And I noticed that when you are foreign or like or mixed with a foreign, well, actually, you're technically both sides of you are foreign. You have a community that will ride or die for you. Like, dude, when I even said that I was gonna have you on the podcast, my sister goes, "Oh my god, I'm gonna put him all over my Facebook, all this shit," because she has a bunch of Vietnamese, like her whole following is just Vietnamese motherfuckers, and I thought that shit was funny. And like for instance, when my mom, like we're at the beach, right? And we go for my niece's birthday and we're just playing some music and my mom happens to be downstairs. So I'm like, yo, Michelle, my cousin, cause she likes rap and hip hop as well. And she's like, yo, throw on Mixed Miyagi. So we threw that on and my mom's like, hold up. This is Vietnamese. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, yo, he's good. And I was like, yo, you want to see how he looks? And when I showed her, she was like, wow, is he he has to be famous. Is he not famous yet? Because he looked like someone who's famous. I was just like, which I told her you will be.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I really think like, of course, like my following is majority off of like Vietnamese and like Asian community. But like the only reason that is because like speak for yourself. Like, you know, like it's just to them, it's mind blowing to see someone that looks like me being able 100%. To speak their language. But it's like, that's because they're assuming off rip before even like knowing me, like, oh, maybe he's, you know what I mean? But they
but and with stuff like that, you know, I can't relate the exact same way, but I can relate with like being bullied in like when I first started social media in general, right? Because people, you know, I was in college and then I was in a fucking white fraternity and all those kids were like, oh, what are you gay and stuff like that, and like that stuff, right? Because a lot of my following was like Asian gay dudes, right? But then I realized that as you get older, you can use that as like kind of leverage and weight. Because then I'm like, dude, they're paying the bills. I don't care if they're white, straight, whatever. They can follow me. I don't care. But I wanted to ask you. Oh well, what part of Vietnam are you born in? Do you know?
Yeah. So I was born. The place that I was from was called Phu Thiep, tỉnh Cần Thơ. So it's like
South, right?
it's like out in the west. So
Oh,
Phu
west.
Thiep City in Cần Thơ County. But then Cần Thơ like ended up becoming its own city and its own county. So my area, like in today, it got renamed to Ngã Bảy.
Yeah, Bay.
So
Okay. I
Ngã
don't know
Bảy.
that one. I really don't know
Yeah,
that area.
yeah, it's out in the west side.
West
So
side, but is
like
it in the
west.
middle, north, or south?
No, so it's like West Vietnam, like Minh Tay. It's basically the
Oh,
south. It's basically southwest. So it's
okay.
in the south as well, but they consider themselves like their own region
I
because like it's a whole nother like type of people.
Hey, all
Like
you had to say was south, bro. We ride together.
yeah.
I'm from Bac Lieu, which is like the most southern point.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So Sóc Trăng, right?
yeah. That area.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
My uncle lives there.
Oh, that's
So
wild.
from my hometown and Bac Lieu, that's only like 30-45 minutes away.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy, bro. That's awesome. I'm actually planning a trip next year. How often do you go?
I usually go like growing up, I went like every 2-3 years. Last time I went was
Lucky.
before COVID in 2019, but I'm planning to go back for Tut this year.
Oh, for real? That's awesome, bro. You were lucky because growing up, like, we couldn't go. Well, my parents would go every now and then, but I guess they were scared of me going, one, and two, like money, I guess. But then at 10, I went for the first time since I was being born there. Yo, it is fucking culture shock. But you went more recent. I heard that it grew a lot. Like Vietnam's like crazy
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. I think like people that just haven't been back or just don't know much about Vietnam, they think it's like a third world country, this and that. Now, keep in
That's
mind, now
me.
there is poverty everywhere
Yeah,
you
for
go.
sure.
But Vietnam right now, in my opinion, is on its way to become the next South Korea. It's
Yeah,
becoming
I
very
heard about that.
modernized.
I heard
Yeah, because
about
like
like
recently there was just like kind of like a breakthrough. So Vietnam became the first Southeast Asian country to have their own car company. So like Japan has Honda and like
wow.
Toyota. Vietnam now has a car company called VinFast, and they only make electric vehicles.
I actually heard about that. My godbrother told me he's Vietnamese as well. That's fucking lit, dude. I'm planning a trip next year and the spot obviously I want to go by Bac Lieu, show my girlfriend that area, you know, where I grew up. But honestly, Bac Lieu is kind of boring. I want to go to Nha Trang and Da Nang, Da Nang or Da Nang,
Yeah,
Da
then
Nang. Yeah,
then
yeah, 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 yeah. My friend's from there, or like what is there right now, and he was telling me like, bro, you got to come out here. So I'm like, it's
no,
touristy areas, but I want to go check them out.
no, yeah, I relate to you, bro. Because every time I went back to Vietnam, all I did was just go back to my hometown. Like you and
Oh,
me,
it's
we're
the
from the same
worst.
region.
It's the
The same
worst,
region is
bro.
the West. So it's just like it's pretty country, like open
Yep.
field, like water buffalo, stuff like that.
Oh
But
my
the
God,
fun
yeah.
in that, like the fun in that, it's like away from city life. It's kind of like
True.
less stressful. You
That's
just go
true.
out there, you eat good, you live good, you go out drinking, you go home, just rinse and
Cheap as
repeat.
fuck too.
Yeah, it's
Eating.
cheap.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I haven't been back and like actually like traveled the country. So when I go back
Yeah, same.
for Lunar New Year for Thut, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go visit my family. But then I'm also gonna just hit every city and just
Hell
party around.
yeah. That's what I'm gonna do, bro. That's so dude, we gotta text and you gotta show me the spots. Like, yo, whenever you go to like a touristy area, just be like, yo, you gotta go here. Cause I wanna do that. Like I wanna actually like travel around Vietnam. Also, when you're in Vietnam, or your experiences in Vietnam, the many times that you've been, what's a crazy thing that's happened there where you were like, oh shit, like I'm actually in Vietnam now. Like it's not America no more.
Man, it's nothing really like crazy,
For
crazy.
real? Are you sure?
I guess something fucked up that I saw. Last time I went, bro, I saw like two dead bodies.
Oh
Like I
no.
literally witnessed a fucking accident, bro. And it was wild. So it was two dudes, like they were on a motorbike. One was driving, one was on the back. And then, they were drunk. They just left the
Holy
bar or something,
shit.
whatnot. And then like just lost control. The bike was like 50 feet back there, and their bodies were just like so like far from the bike. And I've never seen a dead body like
I
up
still
close
haven't.
like that.
I
Like
still
up
haven't to
close
this
like
day.
that, you know what I mean? And I was just like, damn, bro, like
How old
that's
were you?
crazy. This was 2019, so I think I was like,
Damn, that was pretty recent.
I think I was like 21.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you weren't young, because that could have fucked you up, bro.
Maybe, but
Yeah,
you know, like I said, every place, you know, every country, anywhere in
yeah,
the world, you can
yeah.
see crazy shit. It's nothing I think that's really like specific. Oh, you can only see this here in
Did you eat
Vietnam,
any
you know?
weird shit while you were there?
Yeah, I ate weird shit. Well, weird shit, if
Well,
whatever you consider
what
weird,
what
but
would you consider weird that you ate?
I don't know. Like what I consider weird is when I tell people, "Yo, I ate this," and then they give me a look.
All right, hit me with one. I want to see if I'll give you a look, because I'm eating some weird shit.
Okay, rat. I had a snake.
Wait,
I
with
had
the rat, I have a question. Was it a field rat, like in the rice fields? Oh,
yeah,
okay, then
exactly.
that's fucking
So like
normal.
obviously I'm not talking about like city rats where they
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
live in the sewer and stuff. No, there's rats that kind of just like
Mm-hmm.
feed around like the rice paddies and
Yep,
stuff. They're
and
just
they're
literally just
like
out in the
good,
field.
delicious. Apparently, my sister used to eat them
Yeah,
as a kid.
yeah, they're cool.
All right, so rats. What else?
Yeah, rat, snake. I had dog. I had fucking frogs, but you know, I think everyone eats frogs. Um, I haven't had like bugs yet, but I feel like that's more of like a Cambodian thing. Cambodians eat like hella bugs.
Yeah, I
Like
have a
I'm talking about
question.
like the water bugs and stuff, and like
I've eaten a bug
grasshoppers and
before.
shit.
Yeah, dude. Actually, Mexicans eat butt ants. I mean, the butts of ants. It's like
Mhm.
a snack. I don't know. I tried it. It's kind of gross, but
But yeah, with me though, like I'm always down to try anything. Before I
same.
even like look at it like crazy, I would try it because, for example, like what you consider like nasty is someone else's delicacy.
That's
So in
exactly
order
what I
to
tell
like say you want
people.
to learn about a culture, man, just try their food. Be an open mind, you know.
And it's this is a rant real quick. And it's mainly like American people specifically, but when I go hang out with them and we go to like somewhere kind of basic, bro, it could be a fucking Mexican taco truck, and I'll be like, "Yo, try the beef tongue tacos or something," and they're like, "Oh no, the texture and shit."
Man,
I'm
let me
like,
tell you some
"Bro,
fucking shit. Let me tell you some fucking shit real
hit me with it."
fast. Bro, like growing up, bro, like man, I didn't for one, I didn't learn English till I was like 6, bro.
That's
For one.
crazy because
And
you
then
speak so fluent.
secondly, like I grew up just with my mom. Like my
Right.
dad passed away when I was young.
Oh,
So,
I'm
you
sorry, bro.
know, I was basically like raised like a fob, bro. I guess when
Yeah,
people say like, oh, like hi, why is your Vietnamese so good? I was raised like a fob.
that's why.
So of course, like my mom is thinking like, oh, why am I gonna pay for school lunch when I could just pack him a lunch? And then, you know, it's Vietnamese food. So I bring Vietnamese food
Shit
to
smelly
school.
as fuck.
Kids look at me like crazy. You know what I mean? They're
Mm,
like, "Oh, what's that? What's that? That's
that's fish
crazy, bro."
sauce,
While
motherfucker.
in the meantime, they're eating like fucking Lunchables and shit, bro. Fucking Lunchables. They're eating
Bro,
fucking
that's my
like
niece.
Ritz
Yeah.
crackers and American cheese. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And only just for fucking now, like now at this point in time, everyone's going out to eat like fucking pho. Oh my god, pho. Oh
Yes,
my god, banh mi.
yes.
Oh my god, Vietnamese coffee. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, this motherfucker when we were in elementary school was looking at me sideways,
Yup.
and now he's going to eat fucking pho and shit. I'm like, bro,
Yo. But you
it's
know,
only a matter of time, you know.
and you know, like as much as like me and you, because we're all about the same age. I'm 24, and like we look at that because I had that experience too. I actually used to be like embarrassed of bringing food, so I didn't. Like I would just like we would pay like reduced lunch and just I would eat that shit, pizza and shit, and try to fit in. But and now that I'm noticing the culture shift of like people starting to eat more and more, I have a niece that's like 7 now. Her bringing food to school is more normalized because it's just becoming, and I'm like, yo, like obviously we're like, damn, why didn't that happen to us? But it's a good thing. Like we're thinking about it like, oh shit, like cultures are really starting to blend now.
I think what it is, like we're like this, I think the past like 2 decades has been really like progressive, right?
Hell yeah.
So like back then it was all about like being as American as possible.
Yeah.
And what does it mean to be American? People say like America's a melting pot, but I feel like it's like a very like kind of like white man image, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
But
100%.
nowadays, like people appreciate different cultures and different foods because it's exotic. They want what's exotic. You know what I mean?
That's
Oh my god, fuck. Oh my god, fuck. I've never had that. I've only had spaghetti and meatballs growing up.
and
Let me try
that
that shit.
and
You
that
know
is
what I
the
mean?
same reason that white dudes try to date Vietnamese or Asian girls. They're exotic.
Or any Latinas or any
Oh
Asian.
yeah, yeah, bro.
In
And
general, you know what I'm
we
saying?
my,
But
my my best friend who's my roommate, he's sleeping right now. He had this theory. Tell me if you think this is accurate. Every hot Vietnamese or Asian, but mainly Vietnamese girl, like hot, not like just pretty, but like hot, like black guys. What's your take on that?
oh man.
My cousin's
Uh,
one, so I can
me,
validate.
me, bro, like I can't speak on other people, but me personally, like people ask me, yo, what type of girls do you like?
Oh
What
yeah,
type of
yeah.
race? What type of race do you like? I'm just like, man, I just like pretty girls. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Every race has pretty
Hmm.
girls. I mean, to say like oh, like really hot girls just only like black guys, I think that's a little like
I know we're kind of dicking around,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? I'm not a hot Asian girl, so I can't speak on
Ah,
that.
yeah, yeah, big facts.
Yeah,
Um,
but, you know,
yeah, yeah. So when you were making music, just hopping back really quick, who was your biggest music influences? Like, obviously you had the Galung and all the traditional Vietnamese music, but in terms of English music, like, did you have any rappers that you were kind of like, oh, I kind of want to be like that, or I really fuck with this music, I like this style, or anything like
no, yeah,
that?
yeah. So I I'm not really into like trap and like drill as much.
I
Like
noticed that. Yeah,
I
you're more
say
of a lyrical.
yeah, when I say I like hip hop, like I like hip hop, bro. So I think I got like into hip hop real young. I think like about second grade,
Mm-hmm.
and then from there it just snowballed effect. So
It's
like
because you're a writer. Mm-hmm.
Eminem, DMX, Lil Wayne,
Ooh,
Bone Thugs and Harmony. You know what I mean? Mortal Technique, like hip
okay.
hop, bro. Like motherfuckers that were really spitting some shit.
You like
And
classic ones, yeah.
yeah, like I'm gonna be honest, like I wasn't in the era like listening to like Tupac and Biggie and
Yeah,
Tribe and like all them OGs.
they were
I
right
listened
before
to,
us.
I listened to the newer wave hip hop like Eminem and onwards. And
That's what we
yeah,
grew up on because at the time that Tupac and Biggie had their thing, we were like fucking 2 years old or like three, you know?
I mean
And then,
I was born in '99, so that was
oh shit, you were
before.
even younger than me.
That
Yeah.
was before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was even before. But yeah, like, and we, I noticed this that as you get older, you become the old head that was the people that you were judging before. Because like when we were listening to Eminem and shit like that, you talk to somebody about it, and they're like, "Bro, you should have listened to Tupac. You should have listened to Biggie, right?" And then now we had that next phase where now it's a little bit more beat dominant and like auto tune dominant with like Travis Scott and even Drake and people like that. And then we're like, oh, you should have listened to Eminem and all that shit. But yeah, you said that you don't really like the new wave of music as much.
Yeah, I'm just not really in love with it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Like for example, you step into a club, what are they gonna play? They're gonna play vibes. They're gonna play stuff that people want to dance to, what
Right.
they want to ride around with like their windows down to or whatever. But me, as far as like music, music is a way to communicate with people. It's
Mm-hmm.
just about what does the artist want to communicate to you. You know what I'm saying? All right, pussy money weed, cool.
Right.
All right, get it. But me, like I prefer to like understand the artist and see what type of message they have to send out.
Right. Would you ever want to be a hybrid? Like, cause I know like a great example is J. Cole. I'm a I was a big fan of J. Cole. I haven't listened to his new stuff as heavily, but like Forest Hill Drives and stuff like that. That was a banger to me. So I was listening to his music back then, and he's up there with the lyricists, right? And then I noticed that as hip hop has aged, it's became less important about lyrics and more important about vibe, beat, and things like that. But he's trying to start mixing the two. Would you ever start trying to do that where you have like that vibe and beat, but also have some like actual serious lyric shit?
Yeah, I mean, anyone can do anything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think an important part about being like any artist is to be versatile. So like a music artist, you know, it'd be good for them to like try different stuff because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, everyone does it how they want. People want to stick to one style because that's what's most comfortable with them. Cool. Some people are willing to try different stuff. So it's like, I can make a song, you know, we're just having fun, just talking bullshit, whatever.
Right.
Like mainstream stuff. Or I could have like a vulnerable track where I'm like pouring out my heart.
Right.
You know? So like I've done that already, but like generally like what I like to stick to, my bread and butter, what I actually love the most is like hip hop. What I mean like in that sense.
Yeah, like cypher, like lyrical. I feel that.
Yeah, it's like lyric heavy.
Yeah, do you mix and produce your own music?
I do not.
You do not.
I do not. I never learned how. Like I've always just been like a writer and I just throw my shit on a beat. But no, I have homies that are really good at mixing and mastering my tracks. That's the ones that I've dropped. And then, you know, people that produce beats for me as well.
I really want to make this happen. It would make me so happy. But we don't have to do it right now. We'll talk about it more later. But my best friend and roommate is a music producer. He's really talented. He does hip hop music and I'll show you his resume. He's gotten a couple of like bigger names that has actually used his beats before, and I was like, bro, it would be so cool to merge the two of you guys, because you know he comes down to Florida every now and then, so we can make this shit happen, and you guys can share clout because he's got some as well. Anyways, beyond that, well, I'll text you about that later. Future projects. What are you currently working on that you're allowed to talk about?
Shit, man. So my style, I haven't been able to commit myself to making like a multiple track project yet.
Right.
So like
a lot of singles right now,
album or any of that, because like I feel like that's just too much pressure in trying to make one big project versus I would rather just drop straight singles. So I just have a lot of stuff in store, ready to drop. I just been kind of, you know, just slacking and stuff. But the way I do it, I like to drop a single and also have a video accompanied with it.
Yeah, I love your videos, bro.
Each single is gonna have a music video or some type of visual, and yeah, just coming very, very soon.
Your music videos, concepts, does that come up? Was that you who come up with the concepts? Because I like them a lot. Like for instance, my favorite one is Ngai Now. Sorry. Ngai Now Chung Vai. Wait, I can't pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, Ngai Now Cũng Vậy.
Cũng Vậy. Yeah. That's that, bro. That shit hits, bro. That's that deep shit that you're talking about. I was listening to that. I was like, damn. I feel like you lived through like 30 lives of like being like criticized and shit. You know. Yeah. So did you come up with the concepts of like the actual like, okay, I want the video to look this way? So that's fucking great.
You can tell like the progression because like with me when I work with a videographer, I just automatically like I just give them credit for like shooting, editing, directing, but I actually create the concept and I direct my own videos. I'm like, I want it to start out like this. I want this scene. I want, you know, to have this effect. I want you to like this B-roll, like whoop-de-whoop. So my first experience, my first actual, I shouldn't say that. This is actually technically my second music video, but the first music video that I actually posted and made public was for Ngai Now Cũng Vậy. And like, it was okay, but like looking at it now,
really?
I was like, man, I could have done way better.
I feel that.
See my music videos like onwards after that, they were way better. Not because like the videographer was like better necessarily, but because like I think my ideas and like how I wanted the visual to flow was a lot more smooth. It's like, all right, I'm getting better at it. But yeah, I direct my own shit, bro.
Yeah, your YouTube is popping, bro. Like of all your platforms, your YouTube, like that one video has like 600K. Like you got some fucking big hits, man. If you keep coming up with bangers like that gets a lot of traction, I'm sure. Would you ever sign to a label? Is that the goal?
I'm not gonna say I wouldn't.
Yeah, like, of course.
It just all depends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it depends on who's coming down knocking the door.
Yeah, never say never. Right, so I'm sure like if it was like a good deal, good situation, yeah, why not? But
it takes a lot of pressure off of you though, you know, like you don't have to worry about too much besides just making music, but you know, you don't want them to fucking take
Yeah,
everything from
yeah.
you.
So me, like, you know, I right now I like being independent, just doing whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's the freedom that I crave, not necessarily like the clout or the
Right.
fame.
You know what you
Um,
could do? I just thought about it. You know, when you were coming out with these singles, right? The ones that you do like, whenever you do plan to do a project, you can in that project you can just release like maybe 4 new tracks and then just have the old tracks on it. Like I know a lot of artists are doing that because they don't like the pressure of, hey, I have to slap a 12 song completely new album out. So you can like use some of the old ones to put in there that fit whatever mold you're trying to follow. Um,
yeah, yeah, I get.
Let's talk about performing live, bro. Because I noticed that you do some live performances. How nerve wracking is that, and how does that feel versus like just making music in a studio?
Oh man, when I was young, when I first started getting into like hip hop and like rapping and shit,
Right.
I think I was 16, and that was my first time like ever performing. And it was pretty much like the worst possible performance like you could fucking imagine, bro. Like I felt so bad, and that experience scarred me.
Oh
So
shit.
moving on, like as to now, like when I'm like popping and then like I do shows, I always remember that. But then like it also helps me because I know when I perform now, it'll never be as bad as the first time I ever performed. So now I don't really get nervous anymore. Like I
That's
just kind
great.
of go up and I just you know just do my thing.
A lot of people and like most people that listen to hip hop or any fucking music, they don't understand that most of the stars that you're seeing right now, Drake, whatever, they literally started from the bottom. Like they like 3 people listening to them in a library type shit. Cause like I remember the first time I realized that was when you know I watch YouTube videos, but I also I have friends who lived in Louisville, Kentucky. They were telling me and showing me videos of when Jack Harlow performed way back. Like I'm talking like when he was in high school, and it was like 2, maybe like 5 people in like a bar. And then
Mm.
like they would show me like, oh, here was a year after, and I was like, oh, it's like 100. And then here's a year after, and now it's like fucking thousands, and like that's just it all comes on your drive and all that other things, you know, like luck, drive, and so I think you have so much potential, bro. The fact that you can do both, bro, like that, and well, that's really talented. And both, I meaning like Vietnamese and also English music. Would you ever make a track, or actually you have kind of done this, but like, would you ever make a track that's like fully 50-50?
Yeah, I actually have like 3 songs like that already written. I just have to record them and shoot the
Oh
video.
shit, bro! I'm
Yeah,
so
that's
hyped.
like that. That's like a style I want to try out. So I basically did like the hook is in Vietnamese, but like the first verse will be like Vietnamese and the
Right.
second verse will be English. Or the first verse will be English, second verse will be Vietnamese. But yeah, like 50-50 like that.
All right, you get 3 artists to be featured on your album, your whatever in the future. What 3 artists are you picking?
What 3 artists am I picking?
Yeah,
Oh, crap,
and these
man.
are like free features. They can just hop on and do whatever. You
Well,
can
you
pick
mean like
any genre, any genre.
any genre, anybody?
Yeah, you
Oh,
got to
crap.
consider the clout. You got to consider the
Uh,
vibes.
Shit. So Thai Viet G.
Mm,
He's like a you know hip hop artist in the
right.
Vietnamese community. He raps mainly majority like 99% in English, but you know he's classic, man. Like one of the first
Yeah.
Vietnamese rappers over here in the West
Wow.
Side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Wait, is he the
this
one who made what's his most popular song? I feel like I know it.
you talking about Vietnamese gang?
Yeah. Yeah. I know that song.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's like the only thing I know of his. But yeah, keep going.
yeah. Him. This Danish and Japanese singer
What?
named Mina Okabe.
Don't know her.
Yeah, fire, bro.
Okay.
She's fire.
I'll have to check
Yeah,
her out.
she doesn't know anything about me. I just listen to her
Right. Right.
music.
Right. Right. And then the third person.
Ah, shit. I guess I would have to. I'd probably just choose Eminem.
That would be
If it's like a
wild.
free anybody can get it, yeah, for sure.
That would be
Eminem.
wild, bro. Do you fuck with 88 Rising?
I don't really follow up with like all their stuff when
Yeah.
it drops, but like, yeah, I've heard like a couple artists from 88 Rising.
The thing that I like about what 88 did is they're a full like production. They do producing, label, every like all that stuff, right? But what I like is that they specifically pick people who are Asian Americans and created that group. Like Joji, he's Japanese and white, and then Rich Brian, obviously Indonesian and stuff like that. So I was always like, that's pretty smart. I'm surprised that no one made that beforehand until like recently.
Nah, yeah. I mean, like there was just like I think it was like a lot of Asian artists that were blowing up. So you look back, what do you have? Far East Movement, you had
Oh my
Dumbfounded,
God, Far East Movement.
you had fucking like Rich Brian and shit. So it's like,
Dude,
I mean, it's kind of cool because they're doing it for the community. It's
right.
like, you know.
Dude, I remember Dumbfounded. That guy was really talented. That guy could spit back in the day.
What was it Jin?
Yeah. All of them, bro. Yeah, Jin was a good one. I'm trying to remember. Okay. Growing up, there was Dumbfounded, Far East Movement, but who else was an Asian? Well, when did Ichima come out? Keith Ape?
I think that was like
12? Oh, okay, 2015.
2014.
I'm trying to think
like
of
that.
who else was like early Asian artists. I can't think like American artists.
Not many.
Yeah, like that. I think that's it. Like, well, Timothy De La Ghetto would be like shitting around, but like not really like.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, he's not actually
rapping though. Like he actually can rap.
Yeah, I remember I found him off of it was a parody of like American Boy, but it was like Asian Boy or some shit. That shit had me rolling, bro.
Like, isn't Pilo like Filipino?
I don't know.
Pilo? I think he's over there in like a or something.
The Filipinos, for such a small population, they got some talented motherfuckers. Like Bella Porch and like just like well, fucking Manny Pacquiao. Like you guys have like one of the best boxers of all time. Do you watch any sports?
Man, I don't really keep up.
You're in Tampa, bro. You got like hella sports.
I just watch like highlights, man. Like I watch like highlights, like MMA, UFC sometimes, basketball and shit. But like I don't really like stay on top of sports for real. But yeah, Tampa, Florida, everyone going crazy because the Lightning just won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, congrats to you guys.
Like, Brady and all that.
Yeah. Man, Tampa is a very interesting place. I've been there one time, had a great time, and you guys fucking Cuban food. Better than Miami. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Oh, that's crazy.
Tampa, bro. Crazy. I fuck with Miami food overall. Like overall, Miami's better. But if we're talking Cuban to Cuban ratio, bro, Tampa got some bangers. Like I went to this place, La Segu. I don't fucking remember. But it's like bakery, like hole in the wall. I felt like I was about to get shot. Like it was like really dangerous. But bro, their bakery, oh my God. I had like the best sweets I've ever had in my life in Tampa. Speaking of food, let's hop back to Viet foods, bro. What's your favorite Viet food? And then what do you think is the most underrated that people, like American people, should hop on that they haven't? So first, what's your favorite?
My favorite, man, like people gonna fucking talk shit, bro. But I have to say two because you can't. Like, there's like so many foods. There's like rice dishes and like noodle dishes. For noodle dish, it would be pho.
Of course.
My rice dish would be balupla. Yeah,
bro, my sisters go laugh so hard. That's my favorite, bro. I swear to God.
Man. Well, like, actually, that's very home food.
I would say no. I'm gonna take that back a little bit. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's probably top 5 because that's probably like 3 or 4 because there's oh my God, but it's the fucking, I never say this shit right, and I've gotten my whole family to tell me like 80 times. It's these little like they're in bamboo paper or like whatever, bamboo wrapping, and then you peel it off. It's like the green wrap. You peel it off, and it's like this flour like a rice cake texture.
Like bánh cuốn.
That's it right there. That's my favorite, bro. That's my all-time with pho, and then baluklak is probably next.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is about that with fish sauce, boy.
Oh yeah, man. Like I tell people, like, yo, Vietnam, like our specialty is food, bro. I love a variety of food.
We're starting to do a mix, apparently. I don't know. I haven't been back to Vietnam, but they were telling me like the new. Well, last year, I don't know about now, but last year or two, like the new craze was like this Cajun. Have you ever had Viet Cajun? So it's a mix of New Orleans style Cajun, which is so I guess people came to America that were Vietnamese, probably in New Orleans, and then they had Cajun, which is like crawfish. It's like a seafood boil. And then they brought that shit to Vietnam where they made it way more flavorful. So it's like New Orleans style seafood boil where you get crawfish, shrimp, a bunch of seafood shit, right? And then now you add fish sauce, really spicy and sour. Fuck, I forgot what it's called, but just like the flavorings of spice and sour added to it. And dude, it is amazing. I had it in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I haven't had it in Vietnam. I'm sure it's way better there. So,
hey man, you go to Vietnam, everything's hella good and hella cheap.
Hella cheap, bro. I remember when I was 10, so this is 2007, bro. This is way back. You could get a bowl of bún bò Huế, a bowl of pho, and like some snacks, like some chips for maybe, I think it was like $5 in US. Maybe not even, bro. Like it was crazy.
Like your average like bowl of noodles or whatever is just gonna be like $1. You know what I mean?
So lit, bro.
$1.50, you know what I'm saying? So you go out, you can take 20 people out and spend $20, $25, $30.
Yeah, that's just crazy. And I remember when we went over there, have you ever been in one of those like computer lab centers where they play like games and shit?
Oh, you can't play games and shit?
Yo, yeah. That shit's crazy, bro.
Yo, that's I'm surprised you know about that, bro.
Bro, I'm from Bacliu, bro. I like bro.
Because that's the only shit to do.
Dude, that's what I was saying, bro. I was 10 years old, and we were there for like 3 weeks, I think, or like something like that. And so how it was is my whole family. So my sister went off with my cousins, did her own thing, because she's 10 years older than me. She's older. She's a teenager. My mom is doing mom shit with like the other moms, right? And then my dad's like, sometimes he'll hang out with me. Sometimes he's going off drinking with his old buddies, right? So now I'm here with my other family, and it's really weird. My family is split between, so Bacliu has this river, and it's so strange that it's this way. It has this river, and my family is exactly both sides of the river, and they're sisters, and they hated each other at the time. It was really weird. One was really rich and had like a 3-story like house, which is over there. It's like a mansion, but it does not look like a mansion here. Like it's like a normal fucking house, but it had AC, which is fucking like valuable there. And but it was boring as fuck, bro. Like you couldn't do shit, and it's so big, and it's just like, is there ghosts here? Like what the fuck's going on? And you can climb the trees outside and get coconuts, but that's about it. But then you pay this lady or guy who will like row you, across the river. And then, bro, the poor side, lit, bro. They had a fucking computer lab. They had like a snack store. They had fucking people out every night. Like you're playing foosball, and they take that shit so seriously. They put money down and shit. I'm just like watching this at 10 years old. And you go in those computer labs, there's like fucking 7-year-old kids saying like, "No, ma'am, fuck you," and like all this shit. I'm just like, what the hell's going on?
Nah, yeah, man. Shit's hella fun, bro. Like over there, especially like over in like the western region of Vietnam, like where we're from, bro. Mm-hmm. Like you just find fun in like the little shit. It's not even stuff that's like expensive or like hella costly, bro. Yeah. It's just stuff to just pass the time. And it's like what you do with kids. Kids, like they just make up their own games and just play outside. Saying. Play soccer or something, you know what I mean? Go swimming or some shit.
I remember I went to one of my dad's family's farms, and like I really didn't want to go, but I was forced to go. This is where I ate snake for the first time, and I saw these kids. Like obviously they're really like impoverished, so they're skinny. And it's like 3 kids, all boys, and they're playing this game with just marbles. It's like 4 marbles or some shit, and they draw on the dirt floor, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, this is so creative, bro. What the hell is going on? I'm over here thinking about like playing FIFA on a fucking computer, and then they're out here like with marbles and shit, bro. It was crazy. Yeah, it's crazy what you can come up with nothing, you know. Mm-hmm. It's just the human mind and everything like that. Was your mom strict growing up? Tiger mom or no?
I don't think strict is like the right word.
Just a good mother then.
Like, you know what I mean? She's just like like let's just make up a stereotype for like the Asian mom.
Right.
So what's the Asian mom?
Right.
Always making you do shit, always yelling at you no matter what.
Right.
Always making sure you're on top of your grades, your chores, like shit like that. She wasn't really strict. Like I would do everything, but still get yelled at. You know what I mean? And it's never like enough, but bro, she was good.
Is your mom like this? I want to ask you, is nothing that you can do enough? Like you can do something and she'll find that one thing and be like, bro, definitely. That shit pisses me off so much, bro. I'm just like, bro.
It used like, I mean, growing up, it used to like bother me, but like then when I kind of like matured, I guess like hit a certain age, like
I didn't mature yet.
18, like 17, 18. I'm just like, all right, well, this is just how she's gonna be forever. Might as well just get used to it. And it was really about like extracurriculars and like school and shit. Yeah. Because fucking you know, I could come home with straight A's, but if one of my A's was like a 90 or a 91, she'd be like, why the fuck didn't you get a 95? I'm like,
they'll never say good job. They'll never say I love you, and they'll never say just like certain things, bro. Has your mom ever said?
I figured out the game, bro. So this is what it is. This is my own theory. I believe like Asian moms do that to like instill insecurity in the kids, so that if you never give them a goal to reach, like you keep raising the bar, then they're just gonna be the most successful.
I think that is it, bro.
That so it's like it's never giving you like the pat on the back that you wanted. So you're gonna keep trying and pretty much just break past your limits. You know what I mean?
And so what we're saying in this podcast, guys, is be a dick to your kids. Don't be fucking Americans that like spoil them. Don't spoil the fuck out of your kids like these white people.
Bully the hell out of your kids. No, call them fat, call them skinny.
How much time do I got left for you? Like before you gotta go.
You know what I mean? Like just let it. Just
all right, because I gotta piss really quick. I'm gonna run right back. All right. Well, while Mixed Miyagi is gone, let's talk about how Zoran's still asleep and it's like 1 p.m. I'm fucking dead. Let's look at my text messages. Time exchange key panel. What in the world?
Damn, bro.
What's up?
You pissed in like 40 seconds.
Bro, you gotta understand. I'm a wild peer, bro. Like I pee a lot, but it's like a super soaker. It's like a bazooka super soaker. It's like one shot. Shit. What were we talking about?
Shit.
Oh,
we're
moms,
talking insecurity.
Moms, bro. Yeah. I was gonna say, having like parents, like, oh yeah, this is what I was gonna ask you. When your parents or your mom punished you when you were little, what was the punishment usually?
I guess it depends on what I did, but like, say if I did something like light, like not as bad, she would make me kneel and just stare at the fucking wall. We guy. Yeah. Oh. She would basically make me kneel and like stare at the wall, like my nose has to be on the wall and I have to kneel, like so if I try to sit down on my ass, she'll like get like a broom or something or a feather duster and like hit my feet. She's like, nah, you have to sit up.
My dad. And I'm really curious who started this fucking trend, because fuck them, bro. That shit was fucking painful, bro, because I had to do that too. And I was a good kid growing up. Like my whole family would say like, you were really like good. Like I was fearful. I was scared for my life. Like I didn't want to fuck up. But whenever I did fuck up, I would have to do the wiggle, you know, you'd kneel. And what my dad did that was so fucked is he would do it you facing the wall. I didn't have to touch my nose like you, but facing the wall while he's watching TV so he can see me, right? And then I had to put my arms out if I was really bad. This shit right here, bro, my triceps would burn, bro. That's probably why I got my tricep muscles now.
No, do you know what I heard? I heard Spanish families are even more savage, bro.
Oh, 100%.
You know, they take like grains of rice, like just rice, and they put it on the floor. You have to kneel on the rice and do that shit.
Oh shit, bro. That's some hazing shit, bro. That's some fraternity
like
shit.
Fucking like Legos, bro.
Bro, when I joined, you know, I'm a lot different now, but in college I was trying really hard to be white, like really hard. Like I was a try hard in college, right? And I was in a white fraternity, right? And so, you know, you hear all that fraternity shit where you get like hazed and shit. Yeah, that happened too. And I remember like these motherfuckers would make you do like on your elbows, like push-ups, but like you just like hold them stuff. And I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, bro, this shit ain't nothing compared to my parents, bro. My parents be fucking us up,
yo,
bro.
I'm fucking conditioned for this shit.
But you can't let them know that. You just like, yeah, this shit sucks. Ooh.
Yeah, man.
The grain of rice thing is fucking crazy, bro. That's some torturous shit.
I ain't seen that, but like my homie told me, it's like, yeah. My Dominican homie, he was like, yeah, my dad made me do that growing up. Fuck.
Yo, that's crazy. If when you have kids in the future, do you want kids first of all?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I do too. How do you think your style of parenting will differ from how your mom parented you? Or will it be similar?
This is gonna sound fucked up, but
no, it's not, because I'm probably gonna say the same shit.
I'm gonna raise my kids as close as my mom raised me, because like as far as like the discipline and the punishment, if like an American family looks at that, they're gonna be like, oh, you're doing too much. If a Vietnamese family they're like,
you're doing way too. No, they're like, you're doing too little.
Yeah, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. But man, like what my mom like taught me out of that, like actually like really built character, and it really made me who I am today. Yeah. I think like I'm gonna raise my kids like similar to how my mom raised me, but just because like, you know what I mean, my kids you know, it's going to be a more modern world and stuff. I think I'm just sprinkling, you know, a little bit more love, a little bit more support.
Yeah.
But at the same
you
time,
might say I love you, but that's like maybe.
That's like, oh man, I must be drunk as shit to be able to say that.
What'd you drunk off of? Let me see. Heineken or Hennessy?
Yo, actually, I saw this funny ass meme, bro. It was like this Indian kid, because Indians are Asians, right? And you know how you like type in like on Google Translate and you hit the little microphone, it'll read it back to you.
Yeah.
So like he typed in, he's an Indian kid. He typed in, "I'm proud of you, son," and then just repeated the microphone over and over. I'm proud of you, son. And you see him like watching you, the tears starts coming out.
That's fucking hilarious. Dude, Indian people get that shit too, bro. Like, it's like a whole Asian fucking region, bro. Because I remember talking to my Indian friends, and they're like, bro, the same shit. My parents don't give a fuck, bro. They just want us to be doctors. And I'm just like, the same, bro. Did your mom always want you to go like down a certain path growing up?
Of course. I mean, I think every like, if not Asian, then like immigrant family, they always try to tell their kids like two things: either be a doctor or a lawyer.
Lawyer. Yup. That's
doctor or lawyer.
Doctor.
And mom, like, you know what I mean? Like kind of like putting it in my ear just all my life. And like, I'm a very like, I have a rebellious tendency. If you tell me to do this, I'll do the opposite just because I don't want to do what you say.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just ended up just wanting to just do my own thing. Like
that's what I did.
I went to college and shit, graduated with a BA in psychology. So if I went down like the lawyer path or the doctor path, like would have made fucking money, but like I would have been fucking miserable as shit.
Actually, bro, here's my thing. And this is a good thing for anyone listening. Going down the path of a lawyer or doctor, you make a lot of money in long term, right? Like, you can get a 6-figure right off the bat salary. How much schooling are you going through? And are you getting financial aid and scholarships? Because that makes a huge difference. If you're getting financial aid, scholarships, and you actually enjoy it, go for it. I'm not saying anything. But if you're not, bro, you are going to be so much in debt. Because if you think about the average college student in a year, they like, let's say 25,000 if you're in state, right? A year. That's 4 years for just your bachelor's. So you're looking at $100K. Then after 4 years, you have another 2 years of master's and maybe another 2 to 4 years of doctors. So let's just say 4. So another 4, that's $200K and interest. So you're probably going to end up on like luckily like $250,000 in debt, right? That's 2.5 years of your salary, not counting all your expenses and all that other shit you're gonna have to pay for rent and stuff. So let's double that. You're gonna be in 5 to 6 years of debt versus someone like us or whoever who can just start a career and you could be making half that amount, right? Or even a quarter, but it's going straight in your pocket and you can use whatever you fucking want with it. That's the thing. Like, And a lot of people and parents, they don't calculate that. Like, bro, there's so much debt in fucking college, unless you're going to community college or some shit like that, you know? I don't know. It's crazy.
I think with me, like what scares me the most is you losing the best years of my life, man.
Yeah.
It's like literally because like you go to school in kindergarten when you're 5, and then you graduate at 18. People generally go to college, so that's another 4 years. So from 5 to like 21, right? That's all fucking school just for you to do another fucking like 10 years, like 10 years on top of that, bro. Like that's what my whole fucking youth, childhood, adolescence, young adult life, bro. Like I'm not doing that shit.
I think it's finally becoming more normalized that you don't have to go to college. And I love that, dude. Cause I really like when I have kids, like they can go. And if they're like fuck ups and they don't know what they're going to do with their life at all, then yeah, 100%, I'm going to make them go to college. But if you know what you're doing, bro, I would not give a fuck, you know? A lot of jobs nowadays, like even my first job, I was doing insurance. You don't need college for that. You just need a certification.
Sure. And that's why I think it's important to just really like raise your kids to be like, you know, hustlers, to really grind and like survive in the world.
Beat the shit out of them.
You know what I mean? Just my mom's successful, bro, and she didn't even graduate high school in Vietnam.
What did your mom do growing up? Like perfect.
Yeah, nails.
We're a nail family as well.
Yeah, Vietnamese people, like majority, when they come to the U.S., they do 2 things: either a restaurant or nails.
Yep, 100%. My mom grew up doing nails. She manages one of my sister's salons now. Like it's just I don't know what happened. It's like the Indians got the gas stations, bro, which I feel bad for because gas stations like are dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And then we got the Chinese with the restaurants and the laundromats. Laundromats are smart. You don't have to do too much. That's pretty smart. Then we got the nails, bro. Nails is like a chill job, pretty safe. The only issue I would say is it's a lot of hours. You got to put in a lot of hours.
A lot of chemicals, a lot of back work, you know what I mean? Sitting there like 10 hours a day.
Yeah. Is your mom, I'm assuming is probably very similar with mine. They're like, they literally can't not work. Because I guess it's instilled in them to work. It's really weird. I don't know. If you weren't doing music and you didn't want to go down this path, what path would you have gone down?
I mean, at the end of the day, man, like I just strive to be an entrepreneur. So I just want to like own stuff, own assets, own businesses, real estate. So that's always going to be the plan. But I feel like if I didn't like start getting popping in like music, I probably would have just went for my fucking master's. Because I went to psychology and I wanted to be a mental health therapist. So that takes a master's degree. And at the end of the day, like master's is more money, but I did it for like the certification so I could like be able to help people, you know?
Right.
So dude, instead of going to school now, I still like say like, oh, I feel like I'm helping people, but it's with my music. Because I have people that will like hit me up, they'll DM me, comment, they're like, yo, thank you for dropping this song, or thank you for this, for that. I really enjoyed it. This helped me, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. And also that would have been a solid path as well, because there's not a lot of Vietnamese people in the mental health game. Or Asians in general, bro. I feel like we're as hardworking as we are, and we are very started from the bottom, now we're here type of people. But I think mental health is lacking in the Asian community overall. Like that's the one sacrifice of grinding so hard. No one talks about their actual problems. Yeah, it's like we all just bottle it in. We never. Well, I don't, but my parents do.
Yeah, I mean, like I get it. Because like take for example Vietnamese people, the last traumatic thing that happened was the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
So in that time period and era, they're really focused on survival. They're not worried about fucking like depression and anxiety and whoop-de-whoop. Like they're worried about just staying alive. So coming over here, that same mentality, it sticks. So that's why like parents over here, they only worried about keeping a roof over your head and getting the bills paid. They're not checking in on you like, hey, how are you doing? How is everything?
Right. That's a luxury. That ability is like if you're well fed, if you have money, you have you're in a first world country and society is growing, then you have the luxury of like worrying about your mental health and worrying about others' mental health. But that's what I was trying to explain to people. Like, you know, people were saying like mental health is at an all-time high. Yes, it probably is with so many people and all this stuff, but also it's because it's a luxury now. because like we are at a point in our society where everybody got money. Not everybody got money, but like the fucking homeless people have phones, like iPhones and shit. You know, like if you go to Vietnam, bro, or at least when I went, there's motherfucking homeless people without legs and arms. And they're like crawling up to you to sell lottery tickets. And I'm like, damn, that's real homeless. Like that ain't fucking American homeless.
Yeah, that's why, like, to be honest, this might sound fucked up to say, but the homeless people here in the US, I don't really feel that bad for.
Yep.
Because I've seen real poverty. Right? So here in the US, bro,
Same.
you have government assistance, you have Section 8, you have soup kitchens, shelters, blah, blah, all that shit. You have just people that just give them hella money. Over in Vietnam, for one, the government doesn't help them. Two, maybe like monks and like the temples, they'll like give out some stuff, and maybe a good Samaritan here and there. But generally, you're on your fucking own.
Yup.
Like
you gotta try to sell lottery tickets and shit. The crazy thing is, I feel like because you had that experience going through Vietnam, you grew up with your mother. We both relate in the same way of like. Sometimes I'll talk to my girlfriend, for instance. She was born in 2001, and it's not her fault or anything, but she, American household, grew up all her life in New York. And I'll speak to other American friends, and I just feel like there's so much more sympathy with them, with other people than me, because like, and I'm not saying I'm an asshole, like complete asshole, where I'm like, oh, I can't sympathize at all, but like there's certain situations that I'll look at and I'll just be like, then just fucking figure it out, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, why? Stop bitching about it. Like, just go fucking do it. Not towards my girlfriend, but like an example would be like, not drugs. That's not a good example. Like when someone says like the like liberal concepts, and I'm a liberal myself, like of like, oh, we should help out all the homeless people in California and make sure that they have bigger homes and all, or in like any area, they got to be all fed and all that. I'm like, bro, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to sympathize sometimes, because sometimes I'm like, bro, if you really wanted it, you can make it happen.
No, yeah. And end of the day, bro, like, how you feel and how you think all depends on your perspective. Right. So say, I just got into an accident. I totaled my car. Fuck, I don't have a car now. Well, you have a house, you have a bed, you're alive. You know what I mean? You have family members, you have a job, whoop-de-whoop. It's just how you look at things. So that's why I said, like, over here, we tend to stress more about mental health because we do have that luxury. Over in other countries, motherfuckers are just trying to live, get their meal, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. It's like, man, like, I kind of just like, I don't want to say suck it up, but suck it up. Like, quit bitching.
Bro, hear me out. Imagine if we had hella money, right? Me and you, just like a bunch of money, and we made a TV show. Instead, have you ever grew up? You ever heard of Scared Straight? But we made a TV show like that.
I already know what you're about to say, yeah.
But we took like spoiled brat like teenagers and take them to like the hood of Vietnam, like, and they gotta live with a family there, like village style. Like that shit would be hilarious.
I would be, bro.
Like Becky,
submit that shit, bro.
Bro, someone's gonna steal that shit. That's a brilliant idea, bro.
Submit that shit, dog.
We got a Karen, fucking in the middle back Leo just
yeah, because I tell people like growing up in like you've seen like the bathrooms, bro. The bathrooms are hella different. Bro. So the entire bathroom is a shower.
You take a squat and you gotta like take a shit.
So the entire bathroom is a shower. There might be a sink. Nowadays there is sink, but I'm talking like back in the day. So back in the day, the whole bathroom's a shower. The toilet is not a toilet. It's just kind of like a water hole in the ground.
It's a hole. Yeah.
In order to flush, you just get a pail of water and just dump water into it, and that'll flush it. And like there's gonna be like a big tub. You fill it up with water with a faucet. And you take another pail, and that's how you
for
just
your
wash
hair.
It,
Yep.
And you just take a shower,
bro. And sometimes they'll use like if you go to a poor household, they'll use like products like cleaning like products for your shampoo and shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
I've never seen that.
Bro, I've seen that, level, bro. Like I've seen Pine Sol, which is like fucking floor cleaner.
I've never seen
I'm
that.
like, what the fuck? Because I think they just think it smells good. So they're like, oh, just use it for your hair. That's not what the fuck it's for, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so shit like that. And yeah, the hole to take a shit on, I remember that. Because I remember going to like a public bathroom, like we went to a temple and it was like in the mountains, right? And this is my first experience of shitting like outside a house. and like it's a fucking like it's like a treehouse setup, bruh. It's like wood, and you just squat. Like they have a little spot for both your feet, pop a squat, and you just take a shit on a hole. And I'm like, in my head as a kid, I'm like, bro, what if a kid fell in that hole and just I'm just like, bro, this shit is just not thought about. Like it's just crazy, bro.
But you know, actually, like squatting when you're taking a shit is actually better for bowels and shit.
Yeah, the lining of where you shit is like perfect. That's I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Sometimes when I'm like really constipated, like I'm talking really fucking constipated, I put my trash can close, and then I put my feet up. Get that position right.
Bro, they actually sell like little like stool things that actually fit around your toilet to where they're actually like made for squatting.
Could you, dude?
It's like you're still sitting on the toilet, but it just puts your feet up just so you
could you imagine walking into someone's house and their door is open in the toilet and you just see them squatting and they just look at you in America?
Hey man, like it's really not weird, you know.
I mean, not to us, but like
squatting is actually like a natural, like human thing to do when you shit. Think about like thousands of years ago, like bro, like, they're not, bro. No, they're squatting, dog. You know.
Well, in the room that you have from shitting, like sitting normally to the water versus squatting, like your ass is already down, so there's no splash. No splash you gotta account for. Like that's amazing, bro. If we mix the mechanics of Vietnamese shitting with European cleaning, that's the way. Because Europeans, they got them bidets. That shit's lit. I ain't gonna lie. That
fancy toilet.
So it's like, okay, so a classic bidet is you take a shit in your toilet, whatever, and then there's a separate little mini toilet right next to the regular toilet where it's a faucet and you put your butthole up. You put your butthole up to it and it cleans up. Bro, it's amazing. You don't even have to use much toilet paper.
No, fucking bro, like every Vietnamese bathroom, like back in Vietnam, like they have like a hose, like kind of
yes, and you just put it up there. Same shit. It's because we got colonized by the French people. Yeah. That's why we got the banh mi's. That shit's busting. Banh mi's my shit. All right, man. I will let you go. We ran past an hour. I'm proud of us. Everything. Thank you so much for coming on. And guys, if you guys don't know Mixed Miyagi, make sure you follow him on Spotify. Make sure you follow him on YouTube. We got Instagram. All the links are going to be in the description box down below. Any final words, my man?
Hey, bully the fuck out your kid.
Yeah, fuck them up.
Final words. I don't know, man.
Bully your kids. Eat some fucking weird food for once in your fucking life, and suck it up.
But like kind of like the message that I like to just like shoot across. I guess the last note that I leave with people is I always say one world, one love. So like my music, I make a little bit of everything, like vibes, you know, whatnot, when I want to talk about a certain topic. But because I grew up mixed, you know, I dipped my toes in two different worlds, child of two worlds. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just kind of like stress on being like being a bridge. So it's like, at the end of the day, don't matter who you are, don't matter where you come from, your religion, your sexual orientation, just, you know, just be a good person, have respect, have integrity, and then people will fuck with you.
Bro, Child of Two Worlds would be a fire album name. Yeah. I just randomly thought of that when you said that. I was like, bro, that's just amazing. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to cut it off here, and then we'll chat for a little bit.